old line, motherfuckers, now you got you a bigger nose. I used to stop in the liquor though. Around the time I had my daughter, ain't having no money, so I gotta kick it though. Everybody gotta hit the flow, and everything got spiritual. My people was wanted for decades. The people on shore were OG break. They heard them regal with more on the neck. The auto one on the scene where the Chinese are being, they cheap on the board by the wet lake. I write the song where I read what the towers of B, and he is the Lord in the hefe. Fuckin' with me, you be more than a dead man. Fly through the air in your town. Watch out, get stuck with the world and get back to Ohio, straight to my burial ground. Yeah, this is it. But not it, bitch, I don't be sharing with clowns. Checking my body too thick on humanity, so I'll be wearing a cloud. And I'm out, like the tower car, but I'll be tearing them down. Used to be cool with the French, the British got jealous, then they start wearing the crown. Well, now, I'm straight from the motherland, native Indian spiritual. You can bet your bottom wobble, bitch, I know some shit that you didn't know. Foreigners came over here, start remixing the ritual. If you catch me in the middle, so me, I'm just picking medicinal. Picking medicinal. I was just picking medicinal. Picking medicinal. I was just picking medicinal. I'm straight from the motherland, native Indian spiritual. You can bet your bottom dollar, bitch, I know some shit that you didn't know. I keep into Uriel, every one in front of the other shit. Funny boss, fish the one on the other side of the covenant. I don't even pay attention to all of your lies you be coming with. You don't even know how to farm, you rely on the government. I've been flying through the sky, you don't have my mind as a butter shit. No Tupac Wayne or Mother Wayne's, I am a veteran. Can you please tell me, girl, why you in love with him? You been claiming that you found God, but you know that it wasn't him. Who even said that it wasn't him? Who even said that it's a thing? Now they be acting like you're tremendous, but shooting your shot, put it back in the screen. You ain't the craziest person I met in my life, but you swear that you act like a king. You like the dirtiest bitch that I met in my life, but you swear that gotta be clean. Nah, you trust in a band. You trust is a scam. You a Ku Klux with no plan, or a Ku Klux with the clan. A cool touch with the land. I think I pick my by an If you don't know anything else, bitch, you better know compliment. The land is my mother, the sky is my father, and you gotta touch for the pride. You know that my body is bad, now how about that? You can get me outside. I'm straight from the motherland, native Indian spiritual. You can bet your bottom wobble, bitch, I know some shit that you didn't know. Foreigners came over here, so remixing the ritual. You can catch me in the middle, so me, I'm just picking medicinal. Picking medicinal. I was just picking medicinal. Picking medicinal. I was just picking medicinal. I'm straight from the motherland, native Indian spiritual. You can bet your bottom dollar, bitch, I know some shit that you didn't know.
Yo, I'm picking medicinal. Coming through everywhere, right in your residentials. Where's your credentials? Now we about to get into it. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to understand this. Because when you understand this, you'll be like and clear about things also. You'll be like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I understand certain things and stuff like that. I already knew that, Dolo. I already knew that. Things that you already knew, now you're going to have ways to explain it. Now you're going to have ways to ground it. Now you're going to have that firmament you can stand under, so you don't be standing in the rain. It's my window. I'm standing in the rain. My window. It's all about Missy Elliott vocals. The brat vocals and stuff. Timbaland, a small percentage scale. But you know what I'm saying? Why we liked it, that song. Stop messing with the AI. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. I ain't gonna tell you no more. Stop trying to preach about AI and stuff like that. You gonna have to show me in reality how we can make AI another Mary J. Blige. It's impossible. It's impossible in your eardrum, in your brain sector, or whatever to ever make that ever make a remix AI copy of Mary J. Blige. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do Mariah Carey. You can't do. There's certain things, certain vocal boxes God give you in natural reality and stuff like that that have to be birthed. It come with that. You know what I'm saying? If it don't come with that, it ain't gonna come with that stack, that check, that, you know what I'm saying? Timberland try to rock us to sleep. Try to rock us to sleep. You try to rock us to sleep, Timberland. You know what I'm saying? Don't rock us to sleep. You know what I'm saying, bro? You got enough money. You got enough money. You got enough money. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people start to look at this new stuff, new technology and stuff like that, and they brain, it ain't even about the creative attribute. They put that in the back seat. Dollar signs be first. You know what I'm saying? They might as well be the Riddler or the Mystery Man or Jim Carrey off Batman and stuff like 1992, Michael Keaton. You know what I'm saying? Was Seal on the soundtrack. I can believe I can fly, goddamn movie and stuff like that. You know, the real, you might switch your contact lenses with 2 goddamn question marks. No. Because you're clueless. And once we understand that, maybe you can update it and take that check you rocking everybody to sleep with and get 2 contact lenses with the dollar sign. And then, but don't go no further than that, though, because you are just a Riddler. You are just a scammer. You are just, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget that part and stuff like that. Everybody get in where they get it in good at sometimes people don't. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes probably a good scam wasn't a good scam. Sometimes a bad scam seemed like it was a good scam. But you see the oxymoron in it? It's all negative. It's all negative. You know what I'm saying? So you got to peep game. Peep game. Now, what we're going to talk about for this esoteric lecture also is, you know what I'm saying, how, what does it mean? And yeah, what does it mean to give your light to something? Now, a lot of times y'all already know what that means, but then when you want to take it into a scientific argument or stuff like that, you want to argue against it. No, I'm just thinking about something. No, I'm just paying attention to something. All right, you doing something. That's an experience. Why you don't want to sit there and decipher that and be like, okay, this is where people be creating these spiritual practices from? A large percentage scale of it, other than the other stuff like agriculture and astronomy, astrology, and all that stuff, and the anatomy, because that's what it is. Astronomy, timing. Astrology, meaning. Anatomy, how it affect you. You ain't gonna get away from none of those. I know y'all might not like the terms due to the fact of Australians created astronomy and astrology terminology, not the actual practices itself, because if you were somewhere in China or Africa, it would be a different time zone, so you'll be correlating with you still doing the same thing, just in a different matter. It ain't what we do, it's how we do it. You know what I'm saying? If you're in Africa, you know what I'm saying, your 12 p.m. ain't gonna be the same 12 p.m. as it is in America and things of that nature. So when it comes to your horizon, you ain't gonna call it what's the term, El Elyon, or you ain't gonna call it Osiris, or you might call it Osiris, you might call it El Elyon over here. You know what I'm saying? Because there's more to lingo over here, El Elyon. But you know what I'm saying? If you get too far from the agriculture and conflating the spiritual practices behind it, you will fail to understand what a people is pointing to. For the most part, 12 o'clock p.m. noontime. That's the highest time you see the sun. So in China, they'd be like, high noon. You might watch a movie and be like, oh, this movie some spiritual stuff. Now they're doing spiritual stuff based upon around what they develop from what we all can experience just in their time zone. 12 p.m. high noon. So just another word for 12 p.m. You there, Osiris in Africa, another word for 12 p.m. El Elyon in America. Natives called it just to another word for 12 p.m. and things of that nature. So you have to understand what's actually going on when people are making allegories. And then if you want to say, no, it's something spooky, then this when you become pseudo. Because you don't want to be talking about, oh, it's the highest Lord or highest God. But then when I argue with you, you're going to be like, oh, they were just talking about stars or whatever the case may be. All right, I made it make sense for you so you don't have to argue. The sun, the star, is in the highest position at 12 p.m. for everybody at high noon. So when you break down the allegory, you ain't describing nothing else either, unless you get ready to put some pseudo sauce on it. The end. You know what I'm saying? Now we create allegories of the lead up to it and make spectacles and imaginations about it being in that position and that's in it being in other positions. Just like the Saturn sun. That's when the sun is in wintertime or Capricorn. Or so you'd be like, Jesus died 3 days. No, the sun always takes 3 degrees, 3 days to get rooted in the next sign that it was in and leave leave the previous sign that it was just in. And things of that nature. So you're not on the cusp no more if the sun sign is in 3 degrees. If you're on 2 degrees, if you was born on a 2 degrees or 1 degree or whatever like that, we would say that's a cusp. It's no longer a cusp once it's in 3 degrees. So you got that 5 point, 28, 29 degrees of the previous sign, 0 degrees, 1, 2 of the next sign and things of that nature. And that 5 point is how you let you know what kind of balance you are. If you are a cusp on a 28 and 29 degrees, the archaic energies of a zodiac sign, so that would be like 28 and 29 degrees of Aries through Pisces and things of that nature, then you will be more of the expression of that sign, but you will be needing the lenient or the refreshing or the baby-like or the upbeat energy of the sign that's ahead of you. So you'll be playing out both of those traits. But for the most part, the first sign we would see is the 28 to 29 degrees, but we would see what it's supported by. It'll be supported by the next sign. Then if you are the cusp of the 0, 1, or 2 degrees, the 1 and 2 degrees, you would be more of that sign first, but we would see that you'll be back to supported by some more wisdom or knowledge or something that's elderly from that quality of that energy and that element and that modality to back and support the sign that you are in, based upon when you are in childish or unaware type situations of how you're being perceived based upon the energy is at its early state. So that's 1 and 2 degrees. You're more of that sign being back to supported by a more elderly, so you're not perceived as childish from the sign before you. So you both of those qualities. And then if you're 0 degrees, then you like a natural blending of both and things of that nature. So where one may lack, one may pick up. And then when one may get tired, the other one may, start to remicade and ran the machine and stuff like that. So you got to keep that in mind. Now, so it's just understanding like sun transitions and how we can make allegories around these things and mathematical precisions around these things, and even bring these qualities down and start to make squares and things on the ground and stuff for us to build and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? And also, like when we get into like the sun pockets and stuff like that on geographically on the ground and stuff, so we map out the ground first before we start to build on it, because it's the most efficient area that's going to be for the agriculture or the nature or what's growing at the time and things of that nature. And then for the most part, you might see the ground being structured the way the sun and how we think the sun is appearing to be based upon us moving. So you might say how the sun moving or whatever the case may be, but the meaning and reasoning or the explanations an individual may give you, that's where the culture come from. That's where the spirituality come from. Oh, that was your reasoning to doing that? Why you just can't say you put the here because the sun pocket here? Once you get into, because the light ray is beaming here and more the fruit grow over here and stuff like that, and all the way this, that, and everywhere, because I heard a voice and it gave me this vision to do that. You know what I'm saying? Once it get to that part, then that's when y'all start turning to atheists and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody. I love all y'all. There ain't nothing wrong with being that either. I don't hate on nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because atheist and theist is wrong. Theist is theism for specific religion that's based upon plagiarizing cultures that it doesn't have to be seen in that light for you to defend it in the first place. Will ultimately have you have a dull sword. And atheism just means that you got a specific concept about that theism that you into at the moment. So if you in opposite to Christianity, you're atheist. If you in opposite to Muslim, then they try to generalize it in some case maybe. And then when they get debunked in a lot of areas, even when we start to talk about philosophy and discussing the mind, a lot of times they just go into agnostic, a specific knowledge or knowing or something like that, which is just I know how I don't know something. So I don't know if the spirit real, and I'm not going to claim that it is or it ain't. So I don't want to be theist or atheist. You know what I'm saying? So it's just another way to be lost too. When you ain't gotta be none of these things, to sit down and look at life, and whatever your explanation is, you will start to see that's the early starting point of maybe some observer, someone outside of you, based upon their own bias in your favor or not, giving it terminologies and things of that nature. If it's bastardized and based upon if you had good qualities that let you know somebody was jealous and just try to take it over and plagiarize it. If you was doing something negative and somebody was casting stones at it, Jesus, they had to be the only one getting throwing stones at it. Whoever said was throwing stones at you and stuff like that, you don't need to say, well, I don't care about it because they throw stones at Jesus. No, whoever threw stones at you was justified. It ain't had nothing to do with Jesus. Whatever they said about you was right. You know what I'm saying? Did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he did that. Oh, that. I seen him do it. A.R.Rap did it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody he said do it. Oh, that. Get that money, Trump. You heard Trump up there say, yeah, let's pay all these little Trump funds. No, I said Trump funds. What that mean? Cha-ching, 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 shout the cam, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Damn. Whatever they said after that. But yeah, hell, real smash on my face. Well, yeah, we get into, but like I said though, getting into the mind for the hood too, and this is good spiritual practice for people in the hood too. That y'all need some safe haven within your mental space and stuff like that. Because without these things, you know what I'm saying, you'll wake up every day feeling like it ain't no point of even living, or ain't no point of going hard for something. Even if you are creative, you'll look at the possibilities of it. And since it's so low, you'll be feeling like it ain't no point of going that hard and things of that nature. Then it could be cold things that it just ain't that season and it ain't that phase, and then turn around, a couple months go past and you see somebody else doing it, getting it in. They just had a different way of doing it. It ain't the what, that's what you wanted to do. It was the how they did it based upon who they know or their position or their creative attribute. You forgot that that was what you need to put in. So for the most part, that'll make your little meat hard. You know what I'm saying? If you're a female, make a little taco meat wet or however the case may be, and that type of way to make you get unlazy, not that type of way to get you horny and stuff like that. Because y'all know when y'all be that left behind energy and stuff like that. That's the root chakra in general. That organ ain't just was made from the percentage of thought patterns of sexual energies. Sex is just the joining of multiple energies, the joining of two or multiple energies to create another one. So it goes beyond what y'all root y'all bias and what's pleasing that flesh the most, just because that version of it is higher on a percentage scale. But when you take your thought form, your cloud, and connect it with someone else's mind state, right? That's sex. So the joining of ideas. So if your idea bubble is connecting with someone else's bubble idea, it's in sync, it's relatable, and ultimately it could go into the same direction. So both of y'all doing it in your own way, the how, but what is more in sync on a percentage scale. So that's what sex is. So it gives birth. Y'all just gave birth to something else, whether it's a business, a creative attribute, you know what I'm saying, both of y'all entrepreneurships and stuff. So that type of sex goes beyond gender, because in the spirit world, when you emanate a thought, that's masculine, and when you conceal, aka a collection of thoughts that you emanated, could be in that harness area in your relative position that represent your goal, your thought, it become the feminine, the woman, or whatever the case may be. So for the most part, we all as spirits create men and women, and when we know how to join them together as nations or friendly kinships, right? Your thoughts and feelings, and we know, and yours and mine and hers and his and grandfather, and then for the most part, and if they all going in the right direction and stuff, that's a war ship. You know what I'm saying? We all on that ship. We on that plane. That's a plane. Bitch, I'm on that plane. Yo, eat so I can eat. I'm on that plane. You know what I'm saying? Flight bot. My plane. DoelowDaPilotman. I'm on that plane. You know what I'm saying? Oh. That's what that means. You create a whole plane. Y'all fly in whatever area y'all fly in. And for the most part, you might say that's pseudo or whatever the case may be. But whether you're in a cult or a gang or whatever, y'all need to know that's what y'all already doing. All y'all individual influence is going in the same direction, and then y'all all shoot it in one area. So even when y'all not around, people could pick up the vibe or whatever the case may be. And then y'all start emanating it physically, because the spirit creates the mind. So the mind mimics the spirit. The mind creates the body, so the body mimics the mind, and the body creates physical attributes externally, so that mimics what the body representing, and the body want to represent the mind. So what's on your mind, y'all going to start doing things physically, and physically y'all going to create external things that represent it, whether it's gang colors or signs or symbols or whatever the case. So a person don't even have to know who's an individual, but if they see those characteristics, that body language or those physical representations or those objects or whatever, then they're going to know what mind vortex is there based upon a collection of spirits that's emanating that warship, that spaceship. You see what I'm saying? So when your spaceship is going in an unhealthy direction, y'all start to see the results of it. And a lot of times when you in a gang, y'all, or a cult, y'all doing it on a negative end. So y'all experience the negative qualities of it. Y'all don't experience the positive, how like steering it in the right direction. A sailor or a pirate or esoteric pilot ain't steering the plane for everybody in the right direction. So the ship ain't flowing on the esoteric waters where everybody need to go. It ain't going to the promised land. It's going off the cliff. And when it's going off a cliff, it play out in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension as what y'all considering a leader or some sort leading y'all into a burning church. You see what I'm saying? So it's just understanding when you in the hood, that's what you hopped into when we say jumping off the porch and hopping in the whip. I'm giving you the spiritual lens of it. So you're not physically entrapped and only seeing small percentage scales of outcomes, that you're able to make quick decisions that could still be negative outcomes. You just, them quick decisions make you think the negative outcome won't be extreme or something you can get away with in some way, shape, or form. So your spirit be knowing the whole direction is going towards. You just so much in the physical representation of it, you think you can get grace or find your way out or whatever the case may be, and God be expecting all of us to know the spiritual route of it, aka our first bodies we create, our mind, all of it connecting together. We create a spaceship, and where it's going in the physical and in the mental. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to leave that mission, then that's when God separates itself from you. And then for the most part, when that ship lead into an area off a cliff, not the promised land, that's when you start to feel separate. But separate from what? Not those people, places, and things that you think was around you that made you feel comfortable, and you ain't gonna know what to describe that you feel separate from. But that's when your ass need God. You ain't gonna know how to explain it and stuff like that. Then that's when your monkey ass probably was an atheist and feel like you ain't one no more and you an agnostic now. When you going through that. So never give up that spiritual hope. You know what I'm saying? Because you're getting at it as expectation of what you think you want for the physical. It gives you the idea. That's what manifesting is. Not no spooky stuff. Manifest. What y'all be claiming manifesting is, or if you watching someone who lost, what they claiming manifesting is, replace that in your mind what they're describing with materializing. Oh, this person is trying to materialize something, obtain it, and they're replacing obtain it or the action to take to obtain it with manifesting. And if you get too lost with that, it's conflating, because manifesting don't take those actions it take to actually obtain something. So manifesting is magic. So magic deals with the mind. So anytime you attract something that's magical or mystical, right, it's an idea. You just over exaggerate what an idea is and don't put it in that area. So when you hear these type of terms, you throw your own magic away. Manifesting is when you put yourself in a spiritual space away from one that you was in, only to develop those awarenesses and thoughts. Put yourself in a different spiritual space. If you don't like the word spirit, your space is your space. Get into another space to have different thoughts, right? And these different thoughts become what we're calling manifesting, because you're creating, and that's supposed to be a different idea that you can start to take actions on, and those actions is now what you are obtaining to materialize. And that idea is what got you that physical car, what got you that physical appreciation, that popularity, or if it ain't popularity, behind closed doors or behind the curtains, blue collar, white collar, good business tactics, or however the case may be. It was the idea. It was how you went about something. The what don't mean anything. And when you closer to God, you get closer to the how. And you're able to teach other people in that what, based upon particular expertise, the how much better. You know what I'm saying? So a person might stumble into what just off nepotism, but them qualities that you got, the how, always make you a necessity, always make you needed. So when you always in search for that, you could be a bum and not be a bum no more, because you found what God wants you to be a position here for, to be needed. Because that's all truly what all spirits want to do. Be fulfilled and be needed. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. If you ain't needed long enough, you even willing to open yourself up to be used. The hell with being used and misused. If you ain't got no position that you can express that you could be in a position to be needed, you will put yourself up to even be used and make up something in your mind like, this is how I'm needed. This person need me here to use me. And then you'll have to, you know what I'm saying, you'll be Tina Turner like wearing glasses for like, you know what I'm saying, 3 months out of the time out of the year, every time y'all go to the family reunions or family cookout and stuff like that. And then, you know what I'm saying, making up all hella excuses. You know what I'm saying? Making up all kind of excuses. All kind of excuses. So you gotta be gay. Just be careful and stuff like that out here. You know what I'm saying? Because dealing with the mind is your first train of thought. That thought is the train and line of reasoning, where it's going, or whatever the case may be. Always pay attention to that train of thought and that line of reasoning, and that'll let you know what you're participating in before it even reach that outcome, that in these minor areas you think you could just slickly find your way out. You could slither your way out. It could be a safe haven there for you. Somebody will give you grace and stuff like that. And a lot of y'all in jail right now, or been to jail, know what I'm talking about right now, just without words. That feeling, that's where your spirit was at, because you know jail could trap the physical, but it can't trap the mind. But then the mind is attached to the physical, so it can only go so far because you're still alive and things of that nature. So you're dealing with a spiritual battle when you just in your mind body, and you can't really use your physical body even when you woke. So you just have to waste your time exercising and things of that nature, or you know, whatever that you're doing to pertain wherever your mind is at. So you wanted to stay in that one place, and that one place is dependent on your spirit, your soul, your space that you're in. And a lot of times it's not always easy to be in a similar space that's replicable to create with your mind that make you feel fulfilled when your mind is attached to your physical, you're still alive, and that's in a cage also. So when you're in that energy where you're just away from your body, but you're in that world in your first body, your mind, and that's when you're dealing with God, and that's exactly what you know what you dealing with based upon what I'm describing. If you're in a halfway house or you in jail and things of that nature, and but you know that's where all the creativity come from. You know, it's like even if you going through a bad relationship, that's like a jail too. You ain't got to be always in a jail. Bad job, that's like a jail. When you reach small seconds and minutes and hours of the day that your spiritual space could be there, you know that, dang, you always get this regret energy too. Your spirit start creating images of and words and expressions for yourself to be like, dang, I wish I was in this space at this time that I was dealing with this heifer. At this time I was dealing with this goddamn broke dude, however the case y'all may be. Or at this time I was out. If you in jail, dang, when I was out, why wasn't I in this space? In this space, man, I'm coming up with so much creative ideas. I'm coming up with this. I'm coming up with that. I'm coming up with this. This situation would have been better. You see what I'm saying? You're dealing with God and other spirits and stuff like that in that little space and sector. So you just need to know how to get back there and understand that's where the true gold at. So whatever gold you was fighting for to get you in jail, you know, you can get it much more easier now without having to do the same thing to break the law. You see what I'm saying? And then you give that, you pass that gift on to another, pass that gift on to another, pass that gift on to another. Before you know it, the whole hood is good. You know what I'm saying? And the hood is getting common sense now too. I'm seeing everybody getting common sense. All the gangs and everybody, the podcasters and stuff like that. Everybody having good intellect, common sense. I like that. I like that. Everybody get ready to take off. Everybody get ready to get blessings. Everybody get ready to get blessings. You know what I'm saying? We got still goofy people, still goofy people, but you know what I'm saying? God making it possible for it to be more percentage scale, no matter the ethnicities and stuff, for more on a percentage scale for everybody to be in. That's God want everybody to come together in that world. We can't come together with these physical things of that nature. That's one of the reasons why people not protesting or even the extreme fight. Everybody trying to do like for respirations and stuff. God showing y'all that them ain't fights. You don't know why you think different. You don't know why you feel different. It don't matter what ethnic and all the fights all of us all had. You know, before 2016, we all would have been in a different mind state and things of that nature. Something ain't allowing you. And it's not even someone telling you anything about business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics. You thinking like yourself. And it just so happened it's planned out in a way that is similar to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So ain't nobody really protesting, nobody think, because it's different. God is showing everybody some other way. And God is a personal God. So however God come to you, we all is in this world of objective. You just in your subjective. The objective is the what. The subjective is the how. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, we all doing that what. But the how comes specifically for you. The how comes specifically for me. The how comes specifically for her. You know what I'm saying? And we all have to respect that for each other. And when we do that, ain't nobody even arguing over no religion no more. Like, what you arguing over that for? We all understand that there's a communion or something. If you can't understand that physically, understand this. We all need the thing that we made out of. So you made out of 70% water, right? All right, everybody don't drink water the same. You don't ever have to know if someone on another continent or a species ever existed for you to come up in your own idea that it's something else that need water, just like you need water. And God gave you enough examples in front of you for you to even make that possible in your mind, higher on a percentage scale, that it probably makes sense that just because I don't know something around me, I can bet my bottom dollar that it got some objective communion that we all got that is doing its own way. So for the most part, that goes on the physical. That's just a physical explanation. You know what I'm saying? The spiritual explanation, we all got that quality too. So stop that crucifying stuff that y'all be doing on yourselves when y'all be disrespecting God. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you do at times. That's all. And you got grace. You don't know what you say at times. That's all. That's it. You won't get shamed. You don't get punished. Ain't got nothing to do with none of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just you, but you know better, and you got voices like me here. God always give examples and stuff like that. Whether it's through a voice, another person, something in front of you, other people that's going through things worse or going through things better. It's always going to be a representation that play out as just a piece of God that show you yourself, that you'll internally, because it's a personal God, you'll be able to compartmentalize in your own mind that you know right from wrong, or you know if you're going too far about something or not, or you know what I'm saying? Like you will know. You know what I'm saying? You will know. You just can't. Sometimes people don't see it and they go further and further down a negative rabbit hole and stuff like that into the dark abyss and experience the worst, right? You could be going through something real bad and God will show you it could be worse. And God will put people, places, and things, a circumstance, an image that's not God though. Something like it. Can't be God, just something like it. And you have to be open to see it. You can't be cloudy and foggy in that your own bubble, because that thought and feeling, you got so much of them, it's getting ready to become fleshly fluids, and that's the only thing you're motivated to do. And you stuck in your first body even more. So that desire, that anger or whatever, you can't see anything past that. And God gonna be showing you people, places, and things, something on the radio, whatever like that, that show you something could be worse. You know what I'm saying? So switch that space, shed those thoughts and feelings, that first body, so you can make another glorified body, so you could be experiencing lighter energies. That thought and feeling of lighter, being your spirit lighter. That thought and feeling of the desire. And then for the most part, that's how you shed the dead weight, the skin or whatever. Some of y'all can't see it though. You be thick in it. You be thick and you can't see none of those things God show you, and then it end up being worse. You end up being in the same position of those things God was trying to show you. Then you're cursing God, you're cursing things and stuff like that, really cursing yourself, because it's really your fault at that point. At that point, it's your fault. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't see. You didn't have esoteric windshield wipers with your spaceship. You know what I'm saying? Your spaceship wasn't connected with others to have a warship, so everybody could be on that plane going in the promised land, not off the cliff. You see what I'm saying? So y'all got the peep game. Now, when it comes into what does it mean to give your light to something? So the light is what we make up. That's your first body, the mind. It play out in its lighter stage, masculine. Once you inside of it, because it creates from the inside out, now you inside of your own bubble. Once you emanate more worlds inside of it, you make that beach, put trees there and stuff like that. It's just emanations of imagination that plays out as experiences. It become a womb. Then that's when it becomes physical. Multiple masculines collect and become physical. So y'all separate these processes. And then once the lighter stage become the cloggy collection, condensing stage, the mind, then that get ready to process and be born, become the organ. So then you get lost into the organ, and then the external thing you do with the organ, and then you think life is robot and AI or whatever. So you start to create weird dichotomies based upon your starting point of intellect and stuff like that, whether it's from the age of enlightenment or whatever the case. And everybody had intelligence in other areas, but other people may not have thought about other areas based upon the thinking this was bringing us into existence. You have to understand that. So for the most part, you're not supposed to separate these things. So a person to be like, your thoughts and your emotions are separate. No, it's a process. Everything is a mechanism. For you to have an emotion, you have to have a collection of thoughts. Before you have an emotion, you just have a thought, an idea. Once you get this idea, this idea, this idea, that's a collection of thoughts. Now you have a reactionary thing to what you are experiencing, because you just created some substance. So that reactionary energy is you reacting to your emotion, and that emotion is all the thoughts and feelings. Now you become more reactionary the more thoughts and feelings is in your pocket, your spiritual numino that you're fulfilling up. And if you fulfill it with too much thoughts and feelings, right, if it's a whole bunch of ones you don't like, you want to shed it. If it's a whole bunch of ones you do like, you overboast in it, right? And that's the Lucifer effect. You overboast in that light. That's a light. You don't want to be seen in no other way. Once it condenses and become a fleshly fluid, you'll burn yourself out because of all the adrenaline you use to exercise that pride, flow energy, or whatever the case may be. Then you burn yourself out with how many thoughts and feelings you try to add to it, because the thoughts and feelings that added to it that may have worked previously, that same joke may not work the next time, so the percentage scale and the layering is shortening it up. You don't want to leave that spiritual space, and you're in that plane, that spaceship. You don't want it to go down. You want it to float in that same area on a high sedity high. You high. This is your first high. This is how we all create our first high, awareness. And then for the most part, you get too high off that, you get too drunk, and then when it lose attraction from other people that's able to do the same thing, but they give their light, their attention to you, pay you attention, esoteric currency, you're not building up, and now you can't be fulfilled in that area the way you was before. So your spirit come down and try to scrape for scavengers, scrape for the most dirtiest, scrape for the attention of the most hurt, scrape for the attention of the most lacking, who can develop their their own likeness, their own care for themselves and for others. If you can't care or love for yourself, you ain't gonna have none to care for your or love for others. So y'all gonna be playing this tit for tat on how much little juice spark that y'all can try to get. And if you just a little bit more than them because you got some ego that you might have got from an external representation, so it's a fake one in the internal world, then y'all gonna be in some energy of this person giving you that small praise, a spark, but then they can't wait to take it from you to get the same thing. You gave them a cheat code, they could get a whole bunch of false one, the one that they already dried up from being in the same position as you. Then that's just, you know, white collar, blue collar, or drug dealers or whatever the case may be, thought they was cool, but they was in it for external negative purposes. So you're really sleeping with the enemy. You know what I'm saying? You're really with somebody who can't wait to take your position. And the position itself is negative. They get ready to get someone else to help them do it and be in the same position as you. And then the cycle goes on. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen The Wire. I seen Power. I seen all these shows. I seen Narcos. I seen the presidential election. I seen a lot of stuff. I seen a lot of stuff on this land. Y'all said you gonna tell me I got no common sense. You know what ain't got no common sense. You the one ain't got no common sense. Oh, I'm saying I don't know what to Jordan, man. Don't join them jump out. Got rich from jumping from the free throw line. Nigga. Oh, what heard that? Little kneecap head. Spirituality for the hood. So, peak game, right? So, now, once you understand what's going on, that's the light. Now, what you give your light to, esoteric currency, that's what you're developing. That's that internal gold, right? That yellow iron. And this is, it condenses and it produces inside of you also. So, it give you that essential mineral that make you that adrenaline that make you get up and do that creative attribute. And when you build a lot of that, you're higher on a percentage scale to do things more throughout your day that lead to creativity than other individuals and stuff like that. And it's a real essential mineral. Like, it start to pour into your blood and all this other stuff, and it make your skin better, hair, nails, everything. And the vibe it create, that mind state, you being in that spiritual space, that process of it condensing as wind, your blood, your adrenaline, that's the vibe. So you got a good vibe when other spirits are around you, and you have to be careful too, because you have spirits that don't have it, so opposites attract, and they'll figure out ways to drink it from you. Your energy be drained, and you more creative than everybody in your crew, but you got to figure out why you getting writer's block that day. You got to figure out why you lessen up, you're not that motivated that day. You got to start figuring out why you having all these ideas more than often, why you need to start putting your phone on airplane mode or don't disturb a little bit more often. Real stuff. Y'all saying for certain y'all said certain names that you used to answer the phone for, and they used to, all right, man, not today. Today, this person number going to only Wednesdays, this person number only Fridays. Y'all saying real stuff. You know what I'm saying? When this person called me and it's not Saturday, this person number always go to don't disturb, always go to, you know what I'm saying? You start thinking real good. You start thinking real good. Get your T-Steam game up. I got ice in it today, though, but get your T-Steam game. You start thinking real good. Decision-making qualities get better. You start looking at previous mistakes like you ain't have to do all that them times. Real stuff. You know, your life get better, more money. You know, I said better relationships, better people to talk to, and even better, feeling better when it's time to talk to your damn self. And just you and God, you feel way better. And sometimes you got to fight to even start talking to other people at certain times. You got to be like, yeah, I got to get back in the world. I gotta do something. I got to make money. You know what I'm saying? Because after a while, once you get close to God, it doesn't really matter no more, for real. And God always makes sure something work out. You know what I'm saying? God always, because you got this creativity. It's like, it's just cold the way God do it. It's cold the way God do it. I got the waistband strap on. Waistband strap. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know my ribs be touching my back and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Y'all got the peep game, man. It's deep when you get close to God. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta do it specifically for you. Now, like I said, right, and whatever that you call it is gonna be in your image. If it was a deer, if it was a turtle, it's gonna come to them because everybody have a objective character. So when you go into that world, the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, see, as humans, we all in Yale. Turtles and something else, but that's a whole nother world. Wolves and something else or whatever. And then we get to more closer to one of a kind. So you see how it's all different ethnic groups, species of humans. In the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, we in one of this type of 5-pointed being, but all humans, that type of being is the same. There ain't no different races. You see what I'm saying? They all the same. But then when it comes to different things, it's different species. So to say the way y'all humans look at different races, they look at it the same as different species. Another species is just as intelligent as another species. As if you a human and you a Asian or East Indian, which ain't nothing but Asians and Arabs. I don't know why they call them Indian. Native, African American, European, and we just all comparing our knowledge with each other, but we all share similar organ systems. You know what I'm saying? So once y'all when you get spiritual, God will teach you how to get out of that too. Y'all little racisms and colorisms y'all be in. God will teach you how to get. God will teach you the family system there, the brother and sister family system in that way, and the grandmother grandfather concept is that how we all up under this 5-pointed being concept or whatever, and how we all one thing going against other species and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? Look at it like this. Let me make it simple. The things that the parasites you make feed off you, like your blood cells and stuff. So each of your blood cells and stuff got a spirit in it or whatever, a space, and they got a form around it for they sentient, right? You ain't making your heart beat just by you or whatever the case may be. If you can't explain that, shut up, be quiet, stop being scientific all the time. I'm saying it's good to be scientific or whatever, but look. Your spiritual space emanate the mind that create them, condense and become all those fleshly fluids and things of that nature, right? So you may got a group of blood cells that made the brain, group of blood cells that work the throat chakras and stuff, group of blood cells heart, group of blood cells the lungs or whatever the case. Now, when you out of balance spiritually, you got thoughts from here, thoughts from there. So now you getting foreign blood cells creation that you don't necessarily supposed to have, but it's your creation before it's external. So it's just you're out of sync and you're going to start to experience confusion thoughts, not knowing how to make the right decisions all the time or know yourself all the time. That bends in and become unbalanced hormones, aka your testosterone, the masculine blood cells that condense from the mind states, and your estrogens, the feminine female blood cells that condense. They're out of order, so they're not coming together to have sex to create androgens. And when they have sex to create androgens, it's just the mechanism of the testosterone blood cycle and the estrogen blood cycle coming together, and they're flowing. They're not getting stuck in areas, so you don't have no stiffness or whatever. You're moving around. So when they come together, it creates the blood from being blue to red, and then it creates another thing, the more mucus of the blood, and then it being pushed and more thickened. That's what you call androgen. So testosterone and estrogen is like the same thing. It's a mechanism, but y'all just separate processes. It's a process of one becoming the other, the mind becoming the organ. See what I'm saying? Y'all separated and think they're one or the other, and this is what created atheism and the faulty scientific practices of thinking how you could track the mind without it just being tracking patterns. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it's always even tracking that pattern. So when you have healthy hormone balance and stuff like that, not unhormone balance, what they call it, your hormones is not in balance and stuff like that. It's your spirit is not out of sync. So you're not creating thoughts all over the place. And then it bends in and become confusion thoughts. When you're in sync as a spirit, equilibrium, your thoughts, that's masculine and then condense to become feminine, actually condense to be testosterone, blend in easily with the estrogen. Then you have androgens now that actually force itself to go to the organs that you made. That's why you got the wire systems that lead to it. It play out the same way. And then once it's going, the blood go to the organ that's supposed to make the blood clot, the organ that it's supposed to go. When you got blood being stuck in one area and that blood clot in that area that blood cycle ain't supposed to be, here's where y'all get what we call cancer. And diabetes and ulcers and stuff, leukemia, lupus. These are the insufficient of blood flow through your wiring system. right? That's what that means. I don't know why they're not creating some heat system to force your blood to move. That's the cure. Forcing your blood to move in a specific area that it forgot how to push through. You know what I'm saying? All these pills and stuff just make you not feel the pain while still having the issue. So you get more cramped up, and before you know it, you need more medications and stuff like that because you're not dealing with the actual issue. But for the most part, natural illnesses can be dealt with naturally. Unnatural illnesses can't be dealt with unnaturally. So y'all take that up with y'all own personal circumstances and know which ones to point to of what we all got. We all got all these different things that based upon society and the industry have became, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, here's the thing. You can just kind of compartmentalize what's higher on a percentage scale for you, an unnatural one or a natural organ not being able to pump and things of that nature and stuff like that have you always stiff in those areas or cramp and things of that nature, right? But for the most part, because a lot of times it go on your knees and ankles. But look, when you're looking at it like that, right? Blood cells fighting other blood cells, you're imploding. That's what's actually going on and stuff like that. So we're all the blood cells inside of Yehoah. And we don't be coming together in the way that we supposed to come together. We don't know that way. That's the problem. The way we're trying to come together is the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? It ain't what we do, is how we do it. This would be a well-oiled running machine. We'll see Yehoah face in the sky and stuff like that, right? And Gucci Manitou will be pleasing for everybody. Fruit, along the land, everybody won't be having nothing to fight for, and wherever you got something, it'll be more where it came from. So it will be no reason for you to fight into it. Fight for it. The universal law will be intact, because just by you doing that, we don't even need real laws like that, because you'll be like one out of the few retard person to do that. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to gun violence. That's how deep it'll be, like, if the world got on that pattern. Just the world ain't close to God yet. It's a synthetic God that's still here. A GMO God. You know what I'm saying? A God that wasn't grown from a seed or born like a baby and stuff like that. And it came from one of these things. Something that was already born or something like that. Like a monkey. Some monkey named Lucius. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So when you think about your light is with your spirit, your soul develops. And that's your mind. And what you choose to pay attention to, you're paying your esoteric currency. And so if you're not getting something back, you have to be careful what you're paying attention to, because if you have no more to give, you'll be drained. And you'll be looking for wherever you gave all your resources to, and it became the source. You'll be looking for something back. And if it don't give it back, you're going to start developing concepts in your mind that something lacked respect for you. Something took advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? Something took you for granted. And that's where these words come from. You know what I'm saying? So for lack of better words, we don't have the terminology and dictionary and religion and spiritual practices to describe the whole world I'm putting you in at the moment. We just got those 3 words right now that we pull from it, from all of us experiencing this and just not having a way to explain it. But we're more busy on having ways to explain things so we can have some communion amongst each other, like language. You know what I'm saying? So we can understand each other a little bit. But it's hard for us to all understand something we all be going through that got something to do with God. You know what I'm saying? And the mind. So that's what we all here for. And it take medicine men and medicine women and spiritual people and people not lost in the bullcrap, pardon me, y'all. People not lost in the bullcrap all day and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Dollar bill, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Over than that. Left out the G because the G ain't. Oh, no, that was it. Nobody listen to MC8 no more. I shout out to MC8 and DJ Quick. Over that. OGs. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes into understanding that, right? A lot of times y'all don't be knowing that. Y'all be paying attention on a train of thought and a line of reasoning. Keyword, train of thought, leading to a train wreck, right? And you can wear those clothes in a spiritual world and see how you're going to be seen before it even leads to that physically. It's just a lot of y'all be in the kind of, because I'm a master orator, bringing it full cycle to the beginning, a lot of y'all be so much in the physical representations and the external attributes, you be thinking you're going to have a safe haven. But your spirit be knowing, and that's when you be having those intelligent conversations that's beyond words, beyond vision, beyond feeling, beyond smelling. You know what I'm saying? Beyond tasting. And then for the most part, you be knowing that ain't right. but it's so cloggy and haven't manifested and materialized as an experience that everybody is in a Walt Disney communion, we all agreeing, social norm yet, that you think that you can get there, but here's the key word, here's the key trick that you trick yourself up with the devil, it's going to be different for you. And it don't matter what you in, business, entertainment, education, religion, or politics. On this spiritual lens that I just put y'all in, the world, the spiritual world, God show you in the physical world how, let's make it make sense so it ain't pseudo, how a lot of y'all already be experienced in that. Let's say you in the music business. You already experienced a flanked out, flunky, goddamn contract or whatever the case may be. I'm pretty sure you already know before you signed to Bad Boy. All the artists that was on Bad Boy. What happened to Craig Mack Face and stuff like that and things. Rest in peace and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But you went on ahead and signed being Mason Betha. And I guarantee Killer Cam was next to you. And you was like, nah, Cam, it's going to be different for me, Killer. I guarantee, you know what I'm saying? And what your ass was in the church somewhere in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it while you're shout out to Mason again. Come and talk to me. Did you can tell you talk to me? Can you talk to me? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people being like, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be different for me. A lot of people joined the force, the military. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the 1700s, 1800s, the little border town or something like that. You thought it was going to be different for you. You know, you got hit upside the head with a flaming arrow too. What happened to Hannah's town? You see what I'm saying? Don't have colonists making y'all think they're the only people who had won, who was winning and stuff like that. They lost plenty wars and scrimmages. You know what I'm saying? We love everybody. I'm so glad we in a new time right now. So glad we in a new time. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Ice, baby. You know what I'm saying? Get cold out there. Where's Vanilla Ice? You know what I'm saying? I get cold. Where's Drake out? You know what I'm saying? Y'all be careful out there, man. Everybody be careful, man. Y'all be careful through the little ice storm we got going on outside. You know what I'm saying? Lighten up. Going outside, you ain't got no choice. You ain't got no choice. But yeah, like I said though, this understanding the mind itself, right? So what you're paying attention to is you giving esoteric currency to something. And when you're paying attention to the wrong, you're connecting your magic to something. And like I said, that's your spaceship. And when you connect your ship or space sheep, your sheep animal, your sky animal, to a collection of what Spirit's already doing, it becomes a ship, a war ship. Now y'all all on that plane, right? Now, that plane plays out as a plane of existence. And that plane of existence is what you are existing in, as we all share this existence. There's different worlds, different minds, spaceships, but you choose to share your existence with that specific spaceship. You see what I'm saying? And then for the most part, that plane of existence, you are a living representation of it, or however the case may be. Now, this is what God see. The reasoning, that reasoning, that train of thought and line of reasoning. So for the most part, this is why I bring it full circle. Because a lot of times you could be in a situation and your spirit already know where it goes, but you think you're in that safe haven energy. And this is God testing you to see how far you're going to go, but you don't believe in God, so you go to full length. You don't think God is on your side, you go to full length. You don't see God in that spectrum due to the fact of the current state of how we see religion and things of that nature, so you go to full length. Then once you go to full length, you see the distance? Now once you're at that distance, you don't know what to describe what you're separate from. And then that's when you're needing whatever you want to describe, and that's when you're going to start to make up and to look for it and stuff. You see what I'm saying? And things of that nature. You need God. You had a whole time to think, right, when you was in that jail. So, you know what I'm saying? You had a long time to think when you going through that divorce. You had a long time to think when you lost that job, or you had a long time to think when you lost your creativity. You see what I'm saying? So that's that separateness. And you can't, that's God telling you and warning you, you can't do it alone. So when whatever you got, the physical and external, and that external thing mimicked the physical, you thought you had it, didn't you? Don't forget how you got it, child. You know what I'm saying? You think you can do it all on your own, huh? You think you that good? Let's see. You know what I'm saying? You always see real good when you're in the halfway house. You start to see real good when you go through that divorce. You start to see real good when you lose that height that you was at. You start to see real good when you was Sean Combs, then you was Puff Daddy, then you was Puffy, then you was the Diddy, the Diddy Duddy, the Diddy Diddy, the D, the I, the D, the brother love. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that was God. Look, we all seen it that. Behind closed doors, God seen it like this. The first case, you know what I'm saying? You ain't Sean Combs, you Puff Daddy. Second case, you caught, remember you just did it. The second case you caught your brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to show your ass. God trying to show you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be paying attention to nothing. About nothing. Oh, we already every 5 minutes left. You know what I'm saying? But it's for the hood. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you're not understanding that and things of that nature, now that you have a way to describe that, now you can know each step of the way in the spiritual world, even when you're just physically sitting on the couch like Beavis and Butthead and Romeo and Juliet and female and whatever ethnic group or whatever the case may be. Now you know each instant when you're separating yourself from God. So now you know how to bring your little ass back home. Bring your little book back to the pearly gate. Because the pearly gate is like a television screen with no cable. So it ain't white, black. It's more a phase like gray. And when you lack that, you're behind the pearly gate. And when you start to create awareness, you start to create the gate or get to the gate. And then once you add color, this desire, each of them take the same process. First be masculine, emanation, then become feminine, condensing. And you do them in each pocket. That's you jumping off the porch, leaving the pearly gate from gray, and creating colors out of it, and then leaving the gates, and now you're jumping in your spaceships, and then you're trying to make different gadgets for it. You know, I like this, I want this here. XM radio, that might be the root chakra. I like this here. This might be sufficient satellite telescope, new AI made by Elon Musk windshield wipers for your spaceship. That might be the brain, where you're get ready to make the brain app. First aid is colors. That might be blue, the throat, and then that might be green, leading to the throat chakra. That might be yellow, leading to your solar plexus, where you want to be in your seat at and get your steering wheel going, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? This may be phasing into a dark reddish. Once it get to all the gadgets, XM radio, root chakra, it might be reading the purple, the way you like your carpets and stuff like that. Once it condenses stuff, might be reaching the brown and stuff. Or right then, you in your first mustard seed for real. You getting ready to shoot to Earth. That's the real asteroid. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to meet you. Welcome. Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell. That. Real, and I love you. You know what I'm saying? Real stuff. Because when we talking, you need to understand too, everything's self-projection. When you create a light, that light, which you create to be, is to be aware of others. You also create it out of the same substance of which you inside of. So this is why we're all able to see a light inside of us. Inside of others that we may not always be able to see inside of ourselves. It's a light we created. Is this a spirit by default is in a different angle, different position, and making their own light. So they're going to see it in a different way. So they can see a different side of you. And it may be a better side of you that sometimes you need to be open to that advice a lot of times when you're too much in your negative side, your negative light forms and stuff like that. And the more you in a light and add more thoughts and feelings inside of it, it's get ready to condense and become adrenaline and more rooted experience and things of that nature. And this is how you wake up. You know what I'm saying? Because when you overuse your mind, that bend in and become adrenaline, and you do things throughout the day and you're still alive, they're still in the process, you have to recharge. So when your body resting, right, the thing that made your body, you're more in that realm, your first body, your mind, right? So for the most part, you're able to create more thoughts and feelings and not use them for adrenaline and blood flow for and expressing it and acting on it. So because it's already drained. So once you need to recharge, you need more blood. You need more adrenaline. So as your spirit in your first body, your spirit creates your first body that makes this body. The blood flow, the adrenaline, the wire that's slither into actual wire, your vein. And then for the most part, now you got enough Now you can't sleep no more. You wake up. But when you're in your first body, you're just creating thoughts and feelings. And once you got enough, it condenses and become the adrenaline. And then your spirit can experience the rooted condensity, slow vibrational moving process of it, aka you waking up. You know what I'm saying? And then all those thoughts, you get to use it for the blood and moving around now. You charged up enough. And once you can't do it, you ain't got enough thoughts and feelings while this one is still moving around. Once it starts to slow down, you need to recharge now. You see what I'm saying? So that's why your own sun and moon, you can't really compare your day and sleep as how y'all get lost in the faulty line of reasoning of having a starting point of thinking the sun rise and set. Because you would think you awake with the sun and you go to sleep with the sun when the sun go down. And we see every day people having night jobs. You know what I'm saying? People redoing their sleep cycle or whatever. Now, there is a concept of sleeping and cycle with Yeola, but everybody has their own way of doing it because they have their own little piece of mind, wind, breath, blood, adrenaline. That's what that thing is condensing to be. The mind condensing to be in your organs and stuff like that. So you have your own way of you doing it. So inside of your body, your blood cells just see your night and day how you do it. So you still can't go beyond your time span of needing to recharge. You still be needing sleep. So you be having longer days and longer nights than others, but they still see it how we calculate ours, how we create leap years and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? As you for yourself. But for the most part, that's how you know you're waking up. You're more attached to your organs and they're recharging and stuff like that. So that's how you look at it in that aspect. You waking up is just you experiencing awareness. So you wake up in your mind body and you wake up in that mechanism of making this physical body. But you always just in your mind body first. And when the physical body expire, you still be in your mind body, but then you have to let that one go so it can go into the sky dirt, the atmosphere. And then your spirit had that experience, so it expanded out of it, so your spirit bigger. So it's able to obtain more awarenesses, which is more thoughts, and it has familiarity, the ability to remember. It can have the same similar qualities of the space it was in, aka the size, because really ain't no different locations, just really size. We consider it size as a location. The more expanded you are, the further you seem to be. The more smaller you are, the more you're not spiritually traveling and creating a spaceship sufficient for that travel and that atmosphere. When you have a thought you can't handle, as a spirit, you're too small for that thought you try to expand in. So you try to travel too far and you can't weather that storm and go that direction, so you go in another direction. Your spirit, you smalling your spirit up. You see what I'm saying? And then but you want your spirit to grow through experiences. This is why everything has a pulse. When you create a mind to be inside of, that's expansion. Then by default you're inside of it. That's contraction. So that's how we create expansion, contraction, and things of that nature, and being inside of something also. And then that's an experience just for you. And then when you get through an experience, it end up being a form that's inside of you. You're not inside of it anymore, and it become a fleshly fluid. And then when we do that as a teamwork makes the dream work, that's how we all creating the land and our organs that we're gonna have. That's more that we already know how to use with a familiarity than another one. So this is how you let you know what organ you made first. Was first shall be last, was last shall be first. And us working with these things, it's deep. It's deep, man. But we an hour in. I love all y'all. I gotta upload these Patreon zodiacs for what all zodiac signs need to do to get prepared for the full moon that's gonna be in Leo in about a week and things of that nature. But it's gonna be the lead up for Aries through Pisces on Patreon, and then I'm also gonna upload a live stream tomorrow, generalizing all the energies, just to experience for everybody to get their business, entertainment, education, religion, and politics right. But yeah, I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight Vault, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and responsibilities. Rector Swah, Hill, Hold That Yellow, Who, Massasoit, Mama Natoit. And Massasoit. And y'all chill out in Minnesota and stuff like that over there. Shout out to Oglalas.